as the sun, I feel what you don't say. Scorpio moon, I see through the gray. I'm tuned to your soul, I read the unseen. 8th house mind, 12th house dreams. Tarot in my hands, planets in my sight. I decode the dark, turn shadow to light. Every chart's a mirror, every transit a sign. The past, the now, the future, all intertwined. I'm here for your healing, your truth, your rebirth. Reading your stars, reminding your worth.
Hello, welcome. It is me, Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer, and I'm still applying lip gloss. Very professional of me. Anyway, hello. Now someone calls me right when I start recording. Anyway, welcome. Sorry, that's none of your business. Welcome. We are going to talk about the Sagittarius full moon. We're also going to really get into Mercury retrograding in Cancer. Well, really Mercury entering Cancer. Did you know it's going to retrograde? We got a lot of stuff happening in the summertime. Who wanted to have a fun time in summer? It's going to be really interesting for a lot of people. Here are the dates for this week, though. If you are here for this week we have the sun is going to trine Pluto. You're already feeling this. This is great news. Maybe good for some people, maybe amazing for others, maybe great for your enemies. You never know. Pluto is always about the plot, manipulation, but it's working great. Also, that's what we have on the 26th as of today. The 28th, we have Venus that is squaring Saturn. On the 31st, that's when we have the full moon in Sagittarius at 1:45 a.m. June 1st, we have Mercury entering Cancer. Mercury will be in Cancer for a long time. We'll talk about the dates about that. June 2nd, this is something, I'm just going to put it out here. And if you work on it, that's great. But the sun is going to sextile Saturn. We'll talk about that and what that looks like for you individually in a collective. Anytime you do a sextile, though, means you have to do work. I realize that I'm never in a center of the screens here. Okay, so let's get started and let's talk about today. Okay, this is something that you're already feeling, and let me see the chart. You can see it, but I can't. I have to move a little fast today, so if you see me talking fast and like you have questions, put them down. If you have comments, questions or comments, and I didn't go over stuff because I'm usually more detailed than I can today because I'm filming late. 1, yesterday was a holiday. 2, my daughter got her license, her driver's license. So that threw off a lot of stuff scheduling today, and I have an event to go to. So a lot going on. Anyway, but I'm here for you. I want to be consistent. So back to what I'm saying. So today we have the sun, which is great. It is trining Pluto. I talked about this in my last week's video. I always talk about Monday just in case I'm not here on Monday because a lot of holidays are on Monday. But these two planets, very strong planets here. Gemini rules communication while Pluto rules power and transformation. Pluto's in Aquarius, and that's all about the collective, social platform, innovation, rebellion, social media, technology, the future. And Pluto retrograding here continues to expose those power, anything that's hidden, because the sun likes to highlight things. So things could be highlighted in technology, institutions, communities, and networks. I just saw in the news that Mark Zuckerberg said something, and it came out. It leaked about him firing his employees regarding having them train AI and then him firing it. This is very the sun trying Pluto because this was supposed to be in the dark and the sun brought it to light. Pluto does the deep investigation. It really gets into the dirty closet. That's Pluto, but the sun highlights the stuff in the dirty closet. Okay. So on a personal level, this works really good with any research, strategy, networking. If you're trying to persuade someone in conversation, rebranding yourself, transformation with your mindset. Speaking with confidence and influence, as a collective, this is stuff that is dealing with major stories in the headlines. Hidden information comes to surface, which I just gave you an example of. Powerful speeches or interviews going viral. Again, increased focus on AI and looking at the shadow side of AI or the intensity because Pluto is very intense. Um, also too, on a personal level, you could be dealing with something dealing with therapy or psychology, and maybe you're getting it done online or through social media. The younger generation challenging anything that's outdated as well. Both of these energies are future movement, so there is that. Okay, so that is what we have. You already been feeling that. Now on the 28th of May, we have Venus, which is here. It's in Cancer and it's squaring Saturn, which is in Aries. And this is something that you're already feeling too. Venus in Cancer, it wants to be comfortable, it wants safety, it wants to be nurturing. It's the mom, okay? And it's your equilibrium while you're dealing with Venus. So you want to have balance when it comes to nurturing, having an emotional connection. Saturn brings some boundaries. Saturn in Aries is someone who is like, I am going to be independent. So I'm setting my boundaries here. And it pushes independence, survival, boundaries, like I said earlier, pressure, and self preservation. Preservation. Did I say it right? Preservation? Perseverance. Yeah. Okay. Preserving. Okay. In a different form. Conjugate that word. Anyway, Saturn in Aries can make people emotionally guarded and hyper independent, while Venus in Cancer wants reassurance and closeness. Prime example of this is which I said my daughter got her license. I take her everywhere and I have to let go of that, release that. Release my baby, declaring her independence. And trust me, she is declaring her independence. But collectively, this is tensions within families or relationships, or emotional withdrawal or loneliness increasing, people feeling unsupported emotionally or financially, frustrations around women issues, around childcare, around family dynamics. Financial stuff too. Venus represents finances. Maybe there's some emotional coldness, fear of intimacy, passive aggressive behavior. This could be a little isolation, a little cold. Saturn's very cold. In sign Aries, it could be really aggressive, so cold and aggressive. As a collective, again, the loneliness, emotional isolation, people becoming more guarded in relationships, a lot of financial issues, things with economies. Venus does represent partnership and team, so the team or the partnership is a little cold. Tensions between emotional needs and survival, reducing spending and more financially cautious. Frustration around housing, around the topic of homeless and housing or rent or real estate or the cost of living. Leadership appearing emotionally detached from public concerns or public safety, as well. Collective conversations around boundaries, emotional labor, and self-worth. I didn't even look up the date that this shooting just happened with Trump. I should have looked that up. I'll put that in a TikTok and see what we have. Let's see if that was set up or fake. That just came up to me right now. So let's talk about this full moon here, and the full moon is May 31st. Here, let's put this up here, and it's in Sagittarius. Is at 9 degrees. Anytime we have a Sagittarius full moon, Sagittarius rules the truth. It rules belief systems, higher knowledge, media, travel, law, religion, publishing, global affairs. So those are major themes. Okay. That you get anytime you have a Sagittarius full moon. It brings revelations, exposures. You could be clashing with your ideas, your philosophies, major conversations around the truth. Sagittarius energy wants to be free. It's about higher education. Again, religion, because you are dealing with philosophy, religion, education, media. I said that your belief system. I think that's the same as religion. Sagittarius energy, the ruler of Sagittarius is Jupiter, and so it likes to expand a lot of things. And Jupiter is the ruler of this full moon. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But collectively, this full moon is there could be a major story in the headlines because you are talking about publishing. It's about the wide world web. Sagittarius energy, intense debates about politics, religion, morality, or education. Sagittarius energy likes everyone to live together, so you deal with legal matters with this. Public figures speaking impulsively, people questioning institutions, belief systems, social media, because you're talking about the platform, something with that. Sagittarius also, again, expanding things. So whatever it touches, it expands. Now it's in the moon sign, so it could be expanding some emotions. Sagittarius energy is not very emotional, But when it is dealing with emotions, it's a fire sign, so there is some fire energy. I got my press-on nails. I haven't had them on for a few months. Now I feel like, yay. But this could be misinformation, exaggerated reactions, self-righteousness, reckless behavior, being extreme when it comes to your philosophies and your ideas, people speaking before thinking, legal or ethic scandals could be happening. Let's talk about all the aspects that we have here. The moon is opposing, this full moon is going to be opposing Uranus. This makes it very, very different and unique. We'll see how that plays out. I'll talk about that a little bit more. The full moon is ruled by Jupiter. It is in the sign Cancer, and Jupiter is squaring Chiron, which is dealing with healing. So there is going to be some issues or major themes with that. And it's also in sign Cancer, so emotional, sensitive. So we are going to see some more sensitivity with this full moon than we normally have with a Sagittarius full moon. This full moon too is T squared the north and south node. So we'll get into that. Your future, your past, your destiny, what you're meant to do, what you're supposed to release. Some old baggage is also involved with this full moon. The full moon is one great thing. It's trining Neptune here. So that's great. It's trining Saturn. So that's great too. The full moon this is not great. Quincunx Mars. So we got a few negativity things here with this full moon. You have an opposition to Uranus. You have a quincunx Mars, which is dealing with anger and violence, aggressiveness, and you have it not getting along with your past and your future, what you're meant to do, what you're meant to release. But at the same time, it's working with Saturn, which represent boundaries and government, and also compassion and love. Okay, so it's also in 9 degrees. 9 degrees is a Sagittarius degree, so there's going to be a strong emphasis on truth seeking, exposure, broadcasting, law, philosophy, freedom, expansion, global affairs, and morality. Yeah. Okay, let me see what else. Now, the moon opposing Uranus, something we can see is something dealing with the internet, something being really impulsive, a lot of surprises, shocking surprises, erratic collective behavior. There could be a rebellion happening during this full moon, a lot of protests, a lot of social unrest, a lot of online movement. This energy too is dealing with the intellectual. So highly advanced intellectual energy. Who is calling me? Wait, hold on. This is my ride. Hold on one second.
Cancer sun, I feel what you don't say. Scorpio moon, I see through the gray. I'm tuned to you.
Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, so the Uranus. Okay, back to the full moon. So the moon is going to be opposing Uranus. This is energy that's dealing with the internet, communication, sudden scandals. Uranus is technology, the future, the AI. Again, rebelling. So and it's also very rare and uncommon surprise, something that we can't even predict because Uranus likes to do some weird quirky things. Okay, now it's sitting next to the sun, so it's dealing next to something that's either dealing with the ego, the masculine energy. The masculine energy could be weird. It could be doing something different. It could be surprising, or it could be like a leader or a highlighting of the internet, and it doesn't go with the people. Okay, so you have that. Now, the moon quincunx Mars. Okay, the moon represents the people. The moon also represents feminine energy, mother energy, the home, and safety. Okay, not just emotions. So the full moon quincunx makes things very uncomfortable. And when you have things that are uncomfortable and you're dealing with Mars, this could be a lot of restrictions, and it's in Taurus. So stubborn, not restrictions, stubborn reactions on financial tensions, because Taurus represents money, frustrations around resources and stability, resistance to necessary change, slow moving systems under pressure. Yeah, this one here wants freedom. This energy is aggressive towards something that doesn't want things to change. Okay, here we have it towards the T square, towards these two energies, and again, the South Node is releasing. The North Node is I want to say surrendering because it's in Pisces, but it's looking forward to and your destiny and what you're meant to do. So you could be very obsessed with some control, and then at the same time, you're not surrendering. You're not using your intuition. You're not using spirituality. You're not using the compassion, even though we have compassion here and creativity. Yeah, so that could be happening too. Now, it trining these two energies means there's bold new ideas, there's spiritual awakenings, there's leadership, maybe government having some positive aspects with this full moon because Saturn represents the government. But Neptune adds the dreams and illusions and the fluff. And it making it more positive with our emotions and with the people and people coming together when it comes to long-term energy or restrictions or compassion and creativity and oneness. Okay. This makes me just think a lot of rebelling, but we'll see because you have these two energies sitting here, and this one here, 9 degrees. So it's such a strong degree being in Sagittarius. I think this is going to be a worldwide issue. Let's see. Now, Jupiter is the ruler of this full moon, and it's in Cancer, and it is also squaring Chiron. So the collective and wounded healing is going to be an issue. Insecurities, the victim kind of energy, people feeling emotionally unsafe and unsupported, very sensitive, very emotional, very moody, lack of safety, lack of home safety. Let's see what we have. There could be unexpected political statements, travel disruptions, air travel issues, especially with this. This is dealing with air. And what else do we have? Social media chaos, people rebelling against the system, major conversations involving education, higher education, media. Yeah, this also makes me think of the podcasters and the YouTubers, people who deal with the internet, who work online. Okay, rapid shifts in public opinion. So that is what we have for the full moon. Let me pull a card here on what we have for the full moon. Oh, everything is in reverse. Okay, so this usually means lacking. So there is like an overabundance of something. This represents judgment, an overabundance of maybe being overly optimistic. That can definitely represent that. We have the 9 of brooms, and there's a load. The load is being lifted, and this is boastfulness. Yeah, it makes me think overconfident and not really thinking realistic. I don't see any grounded energy here. So there's going to be something dealing with overconfidence here with this full moon in Sagittarius. That makes a lot of sense. That's the one thing I didn't mention. Feeling overconfident, exaggerating. I did mention that. Overdoing something, overpromising, taking a heavy load of something, and maybe bragging about it or feel braggadocious about something as well. Yeah, so that is what we have for the full moon. Oh, okay. Let me tell you, this full moon, who's going to feel this the most? Anybody who has Sagittarius placement, you're going to be feeling this. Anyone who has any mutable signs is not going to work great for you. Anyone who is Pisces placements or Virgo placements, Gemini placements, you guys will be feeling this the most in a negative light. In a positive light, because sometimes this can be an awareness brought to you, and it will work really good with the fire signs. Like I said here, the Aries, any Aries placements, any Leo placements, this is going to work positive for you, and you're going to have some enlightenment there. Okay, now let's talk about I just yelled that. Let's talk about okay, so we're going to talk about Mercury entering Cancer. Okay, Mercury enters Cancer. What is my June 1st? And when Mercury enters Cancer, there's a lot of things happening here. Okay. Mercury enters Cancer, and it's about communication. Mercury rules communication. And one of the things, and it's going to be communication is going to become more emotional, more reactive, more nostalgic, deeply tied to safety, family, home, memory, protection, mother. Okay. The womb. Okay. Logic takes a back seat because now you are dealing with feelings. Collectively, people become more sensitive to words, to tone, and emotional energy. Is there's going to be emotional undertones when people are talking. Okay, a lot of repeating of the past and dealing with ancestry too. This transit can shift to having major conversations about family dynamics, housing, real estate, food, cost of living, children, education. This is also a sense of nationalism, so let's see how this plays out with America or what country you live in. Emotional security, motherhood and women issues, nationalism, protecting home, Emotional storytelling in the media. Cancer is ruled by the moon. So while Mercury is in Cancer, all these planets in Cancer, the full moon, the eclipse, the new moon, all affect the moon itself. It moves fast though, but all that will affect Mercury in Cancer. Collectively, we can see headlines about real estate, about housing, about the unhoused, homeless people. um, a lot of emotional language with political people, people talking about the past or something about the past. Being very sensitive online is what you get to. Emotional reactions, people driving and they're kind of driving sideways. That could be a thing because Cancer doesn't go forward; it moves to the side. Family related issues become major public conversations, emotional speeches. A strong focus on caregiving and fertility and womanhood too. Okay, yeah, but a lot of moodiness, a lot of emotional energy, a lot of sensitivity, a lot of fear-based narrative energy. Yeah, major things about dreams too. Yeah, okay, let me see what else we have. Transportations, watch out, people could be emotional. Technology, a lot of not oversharing, but just a lot of sensitive things online. If you're writing a contract or signing an agreement, you could be signing something based on security or your mom or something from the past. Now, Mercury also deals with siblings and your community, and there could be something dealing with the home and your community or being protective or your mom. Now it's Mercury also is like the prankster and the humor and the wit, and so people could be relating to something that's comfortable or makes them feel safe or something dealing with the past. But very intuitive energy here. All water signs are dealing with intuition. Let me see what else. Also, too, Mercury deals with transactions, so there could be some type of transaction, and it's emotional based, more than being logical based. But that also deals with like if you buy something, you get it on sale, all that stuff. Okay. Now let's talk about the dates of Mercury, and let me start with June 3rd. June 3rd, we have Mercury is going to square Neptune, but once Mercury enters Neptune, it's going to square Neptune. This is a dealing of confusion, misinformation, emotional manipulation, fear based narratives. Media may feel a little chaotic or misleading when people are talking. They could be lying. Propaganda. Okay. Once Mercury enters Cancer, no, that's what you're going to get. Now, also, too, Mercury is going to quincunx Pluto retrograding, and that exactly happens June 4th. And this is power struggles with social media or with the word or with an email or with a text. Maybe someone is obsessively thinking or texting you, or a lot of information being controlled. This is definitely freedom of speech. Having some issues there, leaked messages or scandals, or distrust in institutions or technology. Now, on June 9th, we have June 9th, we have Mercury squaring Saturn. Okay. And also, too, you're going to feel this earlier, but I'm giving you the exact dates. June 4th may be more of an exact date, but June 9th, Mercury squaring Saturn, and you can get this once it hits that 4 degree, 2 degrees really. But communication feels heavy, blocked, delayed, and restricted. This is very harsh, cold rhetoric. Okay, this is about the transportations, and there's a block here. You can't drive. Maybe there's construction, or the government is restricting you for doing something. This is also censorship through the government. Public frustration and mental burnout. Now, Mercury on the 12th starts to have a wide conjunction to Jupiter. This is positive or something that's going to make it really big. It's almost like the government, what I just said, makes something big, is blocking you because it becomes a big deal. This could be emotional headlines dominating the media. Maybe you're over promising something. Remember, we had this expansion with the full moon, but maybe there's a collective nostalgic increasing, maybe huge emotional reactions. Whenever Jupiter is touching anything, it could expand it and make it big. So something on the headlines regarding your home or your past, it could be big, or news could be big. Venus is sitting there, so this could be positive for the individual. This is great for all my water signs. While Mercury's in Cancer, it works really good for my Scorpios. It works really good for my Pisces. There is an opposition while Mercury's in Cancer with all my Capricorns. There is tension with all of my Libras and all of my Aries. Okay, you guys don't like Mercury in Cancer. These planets are already there. You're already feeling it. Okay, but now it's being said. Okay. So there is that, but there's this exaggeration or abundance or luck being said, and you start to feel it around June 12th, especially with Venus in Cancer. Okay. Now, as we move, the next thing will be the full moon, but you see Venus moves into Leo. So it happens a day of this abundance, good luck. But these two are kind of sitting close together. So there is this abundance or exaggeration, or even, a big you blowing up, you having a viral moment, or this is like someone on social media talking, and this is the World Wide Web coming together. In the name of Cancer signs or water element or the sea, the lake, the ocean, but also really dealing with people of the past or your home or your mother. Okay, it's like almost like a mother going viral or something very sensitive and nurturing going viral. Okay, now, June 14th, we do have a full moon in Gemini, and Mercury is the ruler of this full moon. So that's very interesting. So this could be something that is dealing with the news, major information in the news, public exposure, or something dealing with social media for sure. But that's going to affect Mercury. And then on the 29th of June, but I want to make sure I don't see anything big changes here. On the 29th of June, we see that the sun enters Cancer. So now there are highlighted issues of themes of everything dealing with Cancer, the mom and all that stuff. Now, on the 29th of June, I keep saying the 29th, I want you to understand that while Mercury's in Cancer, Jupiter is at 29 degrees. It will be entering Leo. So this abundance or this exaggerated thing will be entering Leo. And it makes me think like, we as a collective will be focused more on safety and protection, and then it would jump into leadership and showboating and confidence, also creativity on the positive side. But anyway, on the 29th is when you will have Mercury retrograding at 26 degrees, and when it retrogrades, the pre-shadow phase will start. So on the 26th, on the 29th, sorry, on the 29th of June, in my head, I'm like, I gotta hurry up. On the 29th of June, I want you to understand that there's going to be an energy of what is going on. Okay. Why are people drying? They're crying and driving. They're being moody. They said you can go and now they changed their mind. But old conversations are returning. If you're a Cancer, people are calling you from the past. A lot of housing or family issues, a lot of emotional miscommunication, a lot of people being sensitive for sure when they're talking. And that starts on the 29th. What also starts on the 29th is that we have a full moon. You see that's not the pre-shadow phase. What was it? I didn't put the pre-shadow phase. Hold up. I know I put the pre-shadow phase starts June 12th. That's when it starts. So June 12th is when you start to get the people get a little cuckoo. On the 29th is when Mercury fully retrogrades. Okay. Now, also on the 29th, we have a full moon in Capricorn. So the 29th, mark your calendars. It's going to be a very interesting day far as emotional things, and could be dealing with finances, could be dealing with work life and career, could be dealing with the government and homeland. Huge, huge, huge. Going to be huge. Look at this, okay? We have that happening. So just be aware of that. Don't say I didn't warn you. We'll talk about it as it gets closer, but this is your heads up that June 29th, that full moon in Capricorn is a big full moon, okay? We do have that happening. Now on July 6th, July 6th, we have Mercury is going to square Saturn because it's retrograding. It's a wide square, but I want you to know now the government is involved for sure because Saturn represents the government. Personally, is dealing with delays, frustrations, like an emotional wall is up. There could be some tech problems, delays in tech. The technology is moving slow. Social media is moving slow. Your email is moving slow. A leader's appearing cold or disconnected, or that mentor or that father figure is a little cold and annoying. Annoying is code to me. It's like, why are you not being emotional? There's a Kazemi, July 12th. A Kazemi means aha moment. There's clarity. This could be something on the headlines regarding a mother figure, safety, or housing. Truth surfaces, important announcements, emotional realizations, family conversations, public emotional turning points, mental breakthroughs. This is the person who gets that DNA test or takes that ancestry in me and finds out who their father really is, or mother. I don't know. That's adoption. But there you have that. July 14th, we have a new moon in Cancer, and that new moon is sitting there with Mercury, just so you know. So that's a lot of talking. Okay. Rebuilding emotional security, emotional healing, reconnecting, maybe with your intuition, or saying the dreams are actually being said, kind of thing. And July 23rd, Mercury goes direct. And also, too, I want you to understand that this is a lot of things dealing with flying. If you're any of the signs that I said it doesn't work well, if you're flying around that time, there may be some issues there. Just know that. But if you're a water sign, this works really good for you. When Mercury is retrograding, the thing is you want to plan all your trips before it's the post shadow phase. So that is the pre shadow phase. So that is June 12th. If you're planning to travel in July ish or late June, do everything June 12th before and you'll be fine. Okay. But also just be aware of being flexible. Okay. You do have that. Mercury goes direct July 23rd. And what else do we have here? And the post shadow phase ends August 6th, just so you know. Okay. Yeah. So that is what we have. Let me just talk about quickly. Let me pull some cards for Mercury. Let's see cards here. Mercury in Cancer. We have the Queen of Machetes. The truth is going to come out, but it's going to be compassionate. It's going to be loving. It's going to be nurturing, or maybe it's very intuitive, and the truth will come out. But this is clarity. This is great with words. Also, great with words. Very social. Yeah, knowledge, wisdom, logic, but it's very compassionate. So while Mercury's in Cancer, we're going to get that. Also, a lot of people playing victim, a lot of people feeling like they're trapped. Let's get some more clarity on that. Not being celebrated. Yeah, so it's like, woe is me. It makes me think of that Jupiter being in Leo, and while Mercury's in Cancer, a lot of people feeling like they're the victim, and because they're not being celebrated or not being seen. Let's see how that plays out, especially because we have this energy here, and this makes leaders not be seen. Yeah, that is what you get. It's not being seen there. Okay. June 2nd, I want to say that is what we have at the end of the week, which is actually Monday. Is it Tuesday? Oh, because today's Tuesday. I usually do a week. June 6th, we have a sextile. And the sextile is with the sun in Gemini, and it's going to sextile Neptune. This is great of getting things done. If you want to have um, an announcement or a serious conversation, or maybe some type of authority figure, you're discussing it. This is a great time to do that. It's a great time for planning, being productive, staying focused, adding some discipline, being very strategic. Yeah, it's great for that energy. The energy's out there, but you have to use it. Okay. This is also great with the youth and the older energy. You being first and brave and starting something new, and you discussing it. 12 degrees represents the ending of something, and then you can start a beginning of it too. So definitely a reset kind of energy. Okay. Yeah, so that is what we have. Let me pull some cards for everyone who is here, and then I will see you guys next time. And yeah, I'm hoping I went over everything because I was trying to go fast. But everyone who is here, this is what we have. All of my cards are in reverse. I don't like that. I'm going to. Oh, are they in reverse? Oh, yes, they are. Okay. Let me pull the cards up again. Okay. Okay, so we got a lot of cards here, and they're all in the upside down world. Basically, meaning it's all internal or it's not working the way it should. Okay, we have the Hierophant. This is usually dealing with traditions and wisdoms. It's like you're not being traditional, you're being out of the box, you're not conforming, and you're trying something different. We have the Magician. This is someone who manifests. You're not manifesting, you're not talking. The King of Brooms, no inspiration, no motivation. The Knight of Machetes, moving too fast. You're slowing down. This is all happening. No cloudy judgment, though. There's clarity for us this week. The Page of Machetes, a message was coming your way and you can't see it. But there's no cloudy judgment. There's no truth. Okay, let me pull something from the deck. Okay, so this is internal energy. This is not talking out loud. Maybe you got to write everything down. I'm going to cleanse my cards. But I feel like a lot of things are happening upside down this week, meaning there are a lot of internal energy. Basically, everything that I just mentioned, more internal. Also, too, when you usually speak up, maybe you should think before you speak. Take your time and talk, especially with the Mercury retrograding later on this summer. Maybe plan out your thoughts, plan out things. Not a lot of options, which is great. That means you may not be confused this week. You need to work on manifestation and putting things in action because there's a lack of drive. That kind of makes sense with the sun in Taurus, though, because the sun in Taurus likes to be lazy. Okay. And wants the comfort of things. So you have that happening. Okay. So that is what we have for you guys. I will see you in the next video. I'm hoping it will be something political. Whatever I feel is my extra video of the week. I've been noticing that a lot of people like my Venus in Leo, Venus in Virgo, Venus in Gemini videos. So I need to continue that series because I have strong 7th house placements and very strong degrees. I'm good at that energy. But I love to do politics. And sometimes I don't like to be too superficial, but we love some superficial energy. So I'm going to continue doing that, but that takes some time for me because I have to create the mood board, where to shop, how do you like your home? Because that stuff is already on the internet and I want to be different with it and bring my own judge to it. Okay. But yeah, so look forward to that. I'm working on Venus and Virgo. I'm doing it in order. I see people putting in their comments, do this sign next. Your sign will be next because I'm going to do all the signs and I want to do it justice for everyone. All right. But that is what we have. Thank you guys for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye bye.